His real name was الحسين bin Abdullah bin Sina. He was the most eminent Muslim physician, illuminative philosopher, great thinker, and a versatile genius. He is attributed with many names, including father of modern medicine, as the father of clinical pharmacology, and prince of psychology. He played a considerable role in the development of both Eastern and Western philosophy and science. He was born in 980 in a village of Sina, which is near to the famous city Bukhara. At that time, it was part of Khorasan and now it is part of Uzbekistan. At that time, Khorasan was under Samanid dynasty and Bukhara was capital and intellectual center of the Samanid Empire. Many scholars and experts had gathered in this city. The great Muslim scientist Al-Razi and the great Persian poet Ferdowsi was also under the shadow of the Samanid Empire. It was a period of political, cultural, linguistic, and scientific awareness of Muslims. Ibn Sina's independent thinking, extraordinary intelligence, and memory allowed him to overtake his teachers when he was just in his teens. He memorized the entire Quran by the age of 10 and mastered Persian poetry. He studied jurisprudence, fiqh, under the famous Hanafi scholar Ismail ibn Hussein al-Bukhari al-Zahid. He also learned arithmetic from an Indian mathematician Mahmud Masahi. But the subject that awakened his intellectual ability in true sense was the knowledge of philosophy. At that time, the world was imprinted with the knowledge of the great philosopher Aristotle. Aristotle's book, Metaphysics, proved to be a challenge for Ibn Sina. He read this book 40 times, memorized word by word, but was unable to fully grasp its deep meanings. Then he read Al-Farabi, who was a famous Muslim philosopher, and the heavy book of Metaphysics descended on his fertile mind with all its meaning and effectiveness. And then a time came when people, apart from Aristotle's argument and logic, began to read Ibn Sina in these places. By the time he turned 16, Ibn Sina developed interest in medicine. He started learning and reading it according to the prevailing way of that period. And along with the study, he also visited patients to understand the cause of their illnesses. He was curious what makes a healthy body so weak and bedridden. These observations increased his experience and ability to identify and cure the diseases, and by the time he reached the age of 18, his fame as a successful and experienced physician had spread everywhere. Meanwhile, Amir of Samanid Empire, Nuh ibn Mansur, fell ill with a strange disease. Physicians were unable to cure him, but Ibn Sina successfully diagnosed and treated his illness. In reward, Amir offered him wealth and appointed him as a royal physician. But Ibn Sina, instead of wealth, asked for permission to use Amir's personal library. Now, through the royal library, he had access to the renowned scholars. Here, Ibn Sina wrote his earliest works. After the end of Samanid dynasty, Ibn Sina proceeded westwards, wandering from place to place to the borders of Khorasan, seeking an opening for his talents. Later, he settled at Ray and served under Wahid dynasty, initially as a physician and later as Wazir to Majid-ud-Dawla and Shamsuddaulah respectively. After the death of Shamsuddaulah in 1021, Ibn Sina became the Wazir of Qakhwad Amir Alauddaulah, for whom he wrote Persian sum of philosophy, the Danishnameh-Ala. Based in Isfahan, Ibn Sina was widely recognized as a philosopher and physician. He never took care of his health due to the research work in the last years of his life. Avicenna was died in 1037. He was buried in Hamadan, Iran. He wrote almost 450 books on diverse subjects, of which around 240 have survived. 40 volumes of his surviving works concentrate on medicine, anatomy, and pharmacology. One of his most famous book and gigantic work on medicine is Qanun fil Tib, or Canon of Medicine. These are two fragments from his book. It was first translated into Latin around 1150 and has been used as the standard medical textbook in Europe till the 17th century. It is still widely considered a valuable resource for the study of medicine. It described diseases, hygiene, simple and complex medicine, functions, and parts of the body. He did extensive research on cancer, tuberculosis, STDs, contagious diseases, and the spread of diseases. He was the one who introduced the idea of checking pulse through wrist. He introduced the concept of intubation, insertion of tube in air passage to assist breathing. He improved the process of anesthesia to protect patients from pain. He also worked on complexities and functionalities of human eye and heart. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the advancement in science and technology, we still use the hashtag depression is real. But imagine, Ibn Sina described the effects of depression and declared it a disease ages ago. In short, Ibn Sina was one of many great minds of the Muslim world during medieval ages, whose multifaceted studies encompassed diverse scholarly fields such as exegesis, law, logic, metaphysics, mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. He played a considerable role in the development of both Eastern and Western philosophy and science. I would like to end this video with the words of Laurie Dosey, the author of Healing Words, which says that the next time you visit your physician, whisper a prayer of thanks to Avicenna, because many of the foundations of modern medicine, empirical observation, objectivity, and rationalism surfaced through his towering genius a millennium ago.